Hello there, and welcome to Hammerman for today, June the 5th. Holy smokes, we're already in June. That's scary. Anyways, as we are now past the halfway mark of this year, I guess a couple of things that I realized I never even actually got around to doing a video about because I was kind of distracted. The first of which being the Mega Crab was freaking awesome. I had so much fun. Thank you for everybody who joined me in the live stream and stuff. I ended up taking down, I guess it was level 45? I want to say it was 45. Grand scheme of things, I guess, overall in the leaderboards for New Zealand, because that's the leaderboard I happen to be under, I came in 4th overall, so, you know, not bad, not bad. I normally am in the top 5-ish or top 10-ish, depending. I really didn't push a lot with this crab either, just because I was not really in the need. The Mega Crab really changes, I find, when you're not trying to upgrade things. Like, when you don't need the resources, it's a little bit different. There's not quite as much drive to be like, oh, I've got to get in there, and I've got to, like, do this, and I've got to do that. Which makes me feel kind of like what they should do is up until, like, say, stage 30 or 35 or something, the lower stages where, like, the people who are not maxed out yet, you know, obviously people who are not maxed out are probably not going to go as far into the crab as people who are maxed out, just purely based on, like, levels and stuff. Not to say that, like, a super skilled person who's not maxed out wouldn't be able to get further in, then this is all beside the point. The point is, like, around 30, 35, maybe, like, a kind of a switch over, where, like, up until 35, let's use just for fun. If up till 35, you get a whole bunch of resources, things are great. You get fragments and power powders and crystals and shards and intel and, like, miscellaneous things all the way up to that level. But then after, like, say 35, maybe reduce the amount of resources you get and, like, make it so you get more prototype parts and more gems and crystals. And it's kind of like, it would give incentive to the higher level people who are like, bro, I'm max, I don't even care about your wood, screw off Mega Crab. It would give those people an incentive. It would give them a goal, at least, to be like, yo, I gotta make at least 35, because then I'm gonna get a whole bunch of crystals, or I'm gonna get a whole bunch of prototype parts, or I'm gonna get, like, you know, whatever cool hero tokens would be awesome after 35. You know, so, like, all of these things are kind of floating around out there. Hopefully it'll all come together, maybe, you know, maybe next Mega Crab, who knows. But yeah, I feel like with our task force, we have a lot of guys who are just so much better at this game than I am. I know for a fact that if they really wanted to put their minds to it, they could just blow the Mega Crab right out of the water, but they don't seem that worried about it. It's like, it's just not something, like, there's no real reason to, like, make the effort to try and make level 70. So they're just like, whatever, you know, I did like 20 levels, I got some gems, and it cost me nothing, and yay, whatever. Moving on. So, you know, giving those kind of guys an excuse to push further into the Mega Crab, you know, I feel like it would be really good, really, really interesting to see, especially with, like, the power powder and, you know, the stuff that really matters at the end level. Yeah. And just maybe fewer resources. Then again, I guess maybe the argument would be like, well, what if a lower level person wants them and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what, still give, like, a little bit, but instead of 1,000,000 gold per level, because I'm pretty sure that, like, nearing the end, I was definitely getting 1,000,000 gold per level, and like I just have no use for that. How about instead of 1,000,000 gold, just give me like 500,000 gold, and then I can live with the fewer resources, but instead of giving me, you know, my 1 shard and 5 fragments, give me 5 fragments, a shard, and a crystal, or maybe 2 crystals, or, you know, a power powder and a crystal, or a whole bunch of prototype parts. Just something that would be relevant to like where the maxed player is in the game. Anyway, that's kind of, you know, way more than I needed to say on it. But I feel like that would really help draw in some of the people who are like, the Mega Crab sucks, which is ultimately kind of what we're aiming for here, right? So yeah, Hammerman, pretty straightforward, as you can see, coasting through with the no prototype parts thus far on stage 5, and you know, having max defenses really helps. If you don't have that, obviously drop in the prototype parts and it all balances out, or a little bit of blue. A little bit of ice goes a long way on Hammerman, man. Like, I had 2 moderate ice statues, and like, I was crushing Hammerman every single time with no prototype parts. Just like, I was just laughing. And I feel like now that I've gotten rid of that ice, oh mama, like, it's definitely way harder. I definitely need to put in more effort. I need to do prototypes now, for example, and stuff. But I don't know, just that little bit of ice does just the right amount of goodness. Anyways, what else do we got going on here? So obviously, I've been a little bit on the quiet side lately, mostly because summer's hit and the weather's getting nice, and like all Canadians, once the weather starts getting nice, I'm like, oh man, I gotta get out there and I gotta enjoy the weather, because, well, I've spent the last 6 months hidden down in my igloo with, you know, the windows covered over by snow that's 20 feet deep outside. So I've been enjoying that. Also, I've been prepping a bunch of stuff. Hopefully, you'll be seeing it coming out soon. Got some really exciting op-related videos, as well as, you know, just goofing around and having a good time. So that should be very nice. And that also brings us to stage 7, which is the final stage. I did have to kind of mess things up. What I strongly suggest is I put a lot of the Riflemen destruction stuff down on the south end of the beach, just because, as you can see, you get nailed with a crazy rifle swarm. But then you got to put all the sniper towers and boom cannons and AoE and stuff up at the top end of the beach, because if you don't, that landing load of Grens will chew you up. It is vicious. The damage they do is absolutely stupendous. And of course, you know, having a hot pocket all kinds of goosed up on the damage amp will definitely make things much easier. If you wanted to do 2 damage amps, that might not even necessarily be that bad of an idea. Honestly, like, 2 damage amps, I think, would probably make this level a pretty serious breeze. You'd just be able to be like, whatevs, don't care, I gotta win. Nang. And also, having it split off from the landing on the left-hand side there, I guess the last boatload of troops, where obviously the hot pocket is down and like all your defensive buildings are hurting and stuff like that. Having them split off like this is absolutely fantastic. Now, what kind of hosed me was, as you can see in the top right hand corner there where the mine placement is and stuff, I normally put my headquarters further back, but a bunch of trees grew in there, and I'm a very strong believer in leaving the trees You know, gotta be green on the boom beach as well, because you need trees. You know, they're good. But normally I'd put stuff further back. I couldn't because of the trees, so I ended up with some really weird, almost like beside the HQ placement. And what that caused was one last Rifleman just to be a dink. But we're gonna get the win from time, so, like, what up? Anyways, guys, thanks very much for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's been entertaining. And most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.